Welcome to lesson 5-2. Today we'll be generating equivalent ratios. Now this might sound like something new, but you've done stuff like this before because fractions are ratios and you know how to find equivalent fractions. So therefore you know how to find equivalent ratios. Let's get into it. So for every 16 basketball players in Crystal County schools, there's 48 soccer players. Now if the ratio remains constant and there are 64 basketball players, how many soccer players would there be? So first I'm going to write a ratio of soccer players to basketball players, 3 different ways. All right, they said soccer players first, so that's what I had to write first, and we had 48 soccer players for 16 basketball players, so that's 48 to 16, 48 to 16, or 48 to 16. So there's my 3 different ways. Now we're going to use this table to generate some equivalent ratios. So I'll start with the original. I have 16 basketball players and 48 soccer players. Now I'm going to multiply both by 2. So I get 32 and 96. Now I can multiply my original ratio by 3. So I'm going to get 144, and then I can do it times 4, which is going to be 64 and 192. So they're asking about 64 basketball players. Well, here we are. If there are 64 basketball players, there are 192 soccer players. And you could have done the same approach if you're trying to find and generate equivalent fractions, but you don't do it that way, do you? You actually do it slightly differently. You say to yourself, you set up equivalent ratios like this, and we say, what times 16 is 64? Well, that's times 4. And if I multiply both the top and bottom by the same number, I get an equivalent ratio, and I'm still going to get my 192. So let's look at this next problem. Sarah made 12 baskets out of 18 shots. And if she continues to make baskets at the same rate, how many baskets will she make in her next 6 shots? So we have a ratio of baskets. I'm going to just do this with words so we are clear about things. To shots taken. And that was 12 to 18. But I want to know, what if she takes 6 shots? All right, well, just like equivalent fractions, I'm going to say, how do I get from there to there? Well, that's divide by 3. Do the same to 12, and I get 4. So she makes 4, or should make 4 baskets. Here's one for you to try. Rashida uses 8 cups of tomatoes and 3 cups of onions to make salsa. How many cups of onions should she use if she only has 4 cups of tomatoes? Give it a shot, and we'll talk about it in class. All right, for this next one, we're going to be trying to determine if things are equivalent ratios. So we have this thing, the circumference of a circle. That's the distance around a circle. And we have its diameter. That's the distance across it. So this is your circumference, and diameter is across it. Okay, and there is a ratio we call pi, and pi is the ratio. Pi is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. Now this ratio is approximately 66 to 21. That's approximately. It's not exact, but it's about that. So I have a 66 to 21 ratio, and I want to know if that's the same as 22 to 7. So I think, how do I get from 66 to 22? That's divide by 3. And 21 divided by 3 is 7. So this is an equivalent ratio. The next one is 33 to 10. And I want to know if that's equivalent to 22 to 7. And I could reduce, well, actually there's no way, this is already in simplest form. There's no way to reduce that or multiply it by anything to get to this ratio. So this is not equivalent. I would like you to try these two and tell me if they are equivalent to 66 over 21. Give it a shot, and I will talk about it in class. Again, we have some ratios here, and we want to know if they're equivalent to 16 to 20. Okay, is 2 to 3 equivalent to that? Well, this is divided by 8, but this, you can't divide 8 into 20 evenly. It's certainly not equal to 3, so this is not equivalent. Again, try the other ones. Let me know if they are equivalent. All right, we have some straight up practice. And we want to find equivalent ratios for each of them. There's lots of possible answers, okay? Lots and lots of possible answers. But I need you to give me at least one correct one. And I said pay no attention to the numbering. That's just where I copied it from. No need to worry about that. So give me some equivalent ratios to each of those, or at least one equivalent ratio to each of those. And I'll see you next time.